Hey, what's going on, everybody? So in today's video, we're going to be discussing a package for Emacs called Perspective. So Perspective allows you to have workspaces inside of Emacs. So with all that being said, let's go over a couple concepts here for new people that may not understand what buffers are and workspaces are, and then we'll jump in my Emacs config and I'll show you guys how to set this up, and I'll show you guys some key bindings and how this package actually works. So let's go ahead and flip over here. All right, so a couple concepts. What is a workspace? For those of you that do not understand workspace, what's a workspace? Well, you can see at the top of my bar here, this is kind of a workspace, right? And if I hit a keybind, I can switch workspaces. I can open up certain stuff on certain workspaces, flip to another workspace, yada, yada, yada. You kind of understand what workspaces are, right? They're virtual desktops that you can put stuff on and keep things open on. What is a buffer? You're going to hear the term buffer a lot when people are talking about Emacs. A buffer in Emacs is any application that is open, any window that is open, your dashboard, your scratch pads, the warnings that pop open, you know, like when Emacs fires up, or whenever you install a package, how it might throw out a warning. All of those applications, or all of those windows, are buffers. Another way you can think about this is, imagine my screen right now is Emacs, right? And if we open up three or four windows, imagine each one of these windows, or each one of these terminals, imagine those are separate buffers. So you could have one buffer that just reads, I mean, I don't know, you could read a file. The next buffer you could do htop. The other one you could, you know, have a file manager open or whatever, right? Those are buffers in Emacs. So I wanted to really hope you guys got that concept down, because like I said, you know, for new people, the buffer concept is it's kind of difficult to grasp. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and open up Emacs here, and I will show you guys my Emacs config. So I am running GNU Emacs. I'm not running Doom Emacs or Space Max or anything like that. This is GNU Emacs. I've been working on my config now for, I don't know, it seems like the past 2 weeks. Every single day I do something to my config to spice it up, or, you know, to fix it up. So let me go ahead and fire up that. Now, if we go to Perspective here, so you can see this is how you install the Perspective package. It's pretty easy. It was copy and paste pretty much from their website. That's kind of how I've done it. Now, what I did do, however, is these are some key bindings that get automatically, they're automatically set up when Perspective, the package, loaded. I did switch out a lot of these key bindings though. That's one thing that I did work on last night, is I fixed some of those key bindings. So if we go down to my key binding section here, you can kind of see how I have it set up, and I've taken quite a few notes, and I've commented everything to help me remember what each thing does. So let me go ahead and flip over to my show notes on the other screen here. So, okay, so we're talking about Perspective. As you can see on the bottom right hand side, right down here, we are in the main Perspective right here. Now, whenever you use the Perspective package, as soon as you load up Emacs, it's going to create that main Perspective. You can think of the main Perspective as workspace 1, right? Whenever you fire up a tiling window manager, more than likely you're on Workspace 1. The same thing here in Emacs. So you can think of main as Workspace 1. Well, okay, how do we flip to another workspace, right? Well, I have a keybind set up right here, and we're going to be using Perspective switch, and my keybinding is space PS. So I do space, and you can see down at the bottom, P, and if I do S, we will see perspective switch. Now, if you only have one perspective open, it's going to ask you to create another workspace. Now you can create as many as you want, I believe, but you do have to give them a name. So we got main. We can make this one. We'll make this one test, for instance, right? So we do test, and now you can see that it flipped us to the test workspace, and we can see this because test down here and the mini bar is blue, or the mini buffer, I should say. That's blue. You can also see that we are in the test workspace up at the top on the my title bar up there. Now, the cool thing about perspective is that whenever you make a new perspective or make a new workspace, it will create another scratch pad for you. So for each workspace or each perspective, you get another scratch pad. Now, how do we list what we have in each perspective, right? How do we get a list of all the buffers that are open? Well, I have a keybind for that. My keybind is space B I, right? And the actual key is, you can see at the bottom, it's perspective hyphen I buffer. Now, perspective does work with Ivy, it'll work with Helm, it'll work with Vertigo, it'll work with iBuffer, and it works with another framework as well. I forget the name of it, but it does work. But what I will say is that if you just use the iBuffer command, it will show you everything that is listed in Emacs. But if you use the perspective hyphen iBuffer command, when I'm using, then it just shows you per perspective. So that's well and good. And then we can do that space P S again if we want to switch, and now you can see too that we have both the main and we do have test. Okay, so let's switch back to main. Okay, so how do we how do we add different different stuff to a perspective, right? So I'm actually going to switch again because space PS. So let's go to test. All right. So let's say that I want to grab my readme.org file, which is my configuration. I do everything in org mode. Let's say I want to grab that readme.org file, and instead of having it set on main, I want it on test. Right? Because maybe, I don't know, maybe test is my, that's where I'm testing out new stuff for whatever, right? So what we could do is I can do space P, and now I can add a buffer to this, this workspace, right? Or this perspective. So there's two things though. There's two different commands actually. We can add it to this perspective, but if we add it, what it actually does, it actually copies it from one workspace to the current workspace. There's no, like, you can't send one buffer to another buffer, but what you can do is you can get into the buffer that you want that application to be in, and you can grab from. I hope that kind of makes sense. So right now we're in the test workspace, and you can see the only thing we have open is our Scratchpad. Let's grab that readme.org from the main workspace. So if I do space BA or space PA, that's my keybind. Now you see we get a list down here, right? So let's go ahead and get that readme.org, hit enter. Now we need to update iBuffer here. So if I do perspective iBuffer, now you can see that we have the readme.org. But let's look at actually what happened. So we had the readme.org in the test workspace. But if we do a space PS and we go back to main, what happened? Well, whenever you use that add buffer command, what it actually does, it copies it from one buffer to, it copies it from one workspace to another workspace. Now, this isn't really a big deal, but if you killed that specific buffer on workspace 2, for instance, it will also kill it on the workspace that you copied it from. So let's go ahead and switch again here. Go back to test, and then we'll open it. Okay, now it's open. I want to kill it. Let's kill this buffer. So if I do space P, and then I have a keybind here. I got remove buffer from perspective. So you can kill perspectives. You can also kill buffers. So, and I have it right here in my notes. Perspective kill will kill the perspective. Removes it from the current perspective. So let's remove it. Space P and then R. Wrong type argument. What? Okay, that keybind is not working. I might have screwed something up in my keybind section, but I'll fix it. Okay, it's remove buffer, and I just have it set to remove. That's actually on me. I'll fix that much later. But if we do meta X perspective remove, it's remove buffer, not just remove. So that was 100% my fault. But let's enter this command. Now it's going to be like, hey, what buffer do you want to remove from this perspective? Well, I want to remove this .org file, right? So let's do space P S again. Let's go back to main. It didn't actually remove it from the original perspective like I thought. So remove just removes it from the current buffer. Kill will actually remove it from both perspectives. That was, I guess that's my confusion. I'm still playing around with this, guys, so it's kind of weird how it interacts. We can also do another thing, though, is space PS. So let's go back to test. Now, let's say that we want to grab it from, we want to grab a specific file from a workspace, but we don't want it to just copy over. We want it to actually grab the full thing, and we want the original to disappear from that current workspace. So in the main perspective right now, we have our readme.org file. Well, what I want to do is I want to grab it from the main workspace, and I want to put it on this workspace. I don't want to just copy it over. I want to grab the actual, the original thing. So what we can do is, I got a keybind space P, and then I do S, or capital S rather. So let's do readme.org file again, space bi. Okay, now let's switch let's switch workspaces rather. There you can see on the main workspace where we originally had our readme.org, it's not there anymore. That's because we didn't just copy it over like we did a minute ago. We actually sent it over. So I hope that makes sense. Let's create, I'll tell you what, let's create a space FF, and then we'll create this buffer, space F, let's open up something else. I want to open up, let's open up my, I don't know, my Qtile config, for instance. Readme. All right, this is my Qtile config. So if I do space bi, you can see we have Qtile config, we have Dear Ed, we have dashboard, scratchpad, messages, whatever, right? So we got about 6 buffers open. Let's create another perspective. So we can do space PS, and I want to create another one. So I'll call this, I don't know, I'll call it work. So now we're on the work perspective. Can we, there's a quick key binding too that we can use to cycle through all of the workspaces. So I do space P in for next, space P in, or space B, did I use P for, yes, I did. So space BP, or space PP, space PP, space PN for next. You get the idea. You can make this thing, I would personally use a quick key binding so that way you can quickly switch between the workspaces. Now, let's get on that work workspace. And let's kill, I don't know, let's kill test. So we can do space P, and then I have capital K, or I have K, and then we'll talk about the other kill command too. So let's K. Now it's going to say, hey, which workspace do you want to kill? Well, I want to kill test. Let's kill it. Boom. Test is now gone. Space BI. Okay. So we can kill workspaces individually. We can also kill them by telling Emacs that, hey, we want to kill every workspace except the workspace that we're on, right? So let's do that. So let me make another one. We'll call it test again. Doesn't matter. And then let's get on that main workspace. So I'm going to do space PP here so we can get on main. Okay. So we're on main, right? Let's kill work and let's kill test at the same time. So I have a keybind set up. So my keybind is space P capital K. And it's going to say, really kill all perspectives other than main. I want to say yes. I just killed everything. Right? So those are some kind of quick stuff that you can do with these workspaces. So I hope you guys got a little value out of this little video I did. I try to explain it as best as I can. Honestly, sometimes dealing with Emacs stuff, it's a little hard to explain because there's kind of a lot going on, and if you don't understand how Emacs works, then it's kind of hard to grasp. It's even hard to grasp for myself because I'm still fairly new to Emacs. I'm still learning the little niche things that it does and how it handles windows, frames, buffers, and all of that stuff. So, but do check out the Perspective package if you guys are interested in getting workspace support in your Emacs. I think it's a great way to organize all of your buffers and to kind of keep stuff separate. So for instance, the way that I'm personally probably going to use this package is I'll probably have one workspace dedicated to Emacs, various things, right? Like my config file, probably a terminal, file browser, like Dired, something like that. And then on another workspace, I might use that as like, programming in various languages and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I would use this program. But you can use it any way you want. Maybe you want to have games on a separate workspace. Maybe you want to have your music on another workspace. Something that you kind of do in a tiling window manager. And yeah, I think honestly, I think this is a pretty cool package. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And like and subscribe if you like the content. If not, give me a dislike. But either way, I want you guys to take care, be safe, and peace. Bye, guys.